One of the things I forgot to talk about in today's video is everyone likes to say red meat and saturated fat damage your heart. If that's the case, then why has my ejection fraction gone up while my CAC score has come down dramatically? I have been on what many people call a fad diet for 34 months. We're going to talk about how it's gone and how it's going. I am Semi-Retired Bob. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. I hope your week is off to a good start. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know that doesn't seem exciting, but if you consider 34 months ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for a couple minutes without severe pain, and I was hobbling around with a cane. Now I'm out here walking every day. It gets a bit more exciting. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask everyone to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free, and it helps me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I am 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40, like out here walking every day. It is a beautiful day in Omaha, Nebraska. It was 60 degrees when I left the house. It's supposed to get just a little bit warmer today, so we'll see. And the first 5 days I'm in Ohio, it's supposed to be 70. So I might actually pack a pair of shorts with me too. This is a reminder as I go up this opening hill that starting tomorrow, videos will be very sparse because I'm going to be in Ohio, and my sister's house does not have internet, and phone service is not great in her neighborhood. So be aware, I'm going to try and get some shorts out. I have no idea what I'm going to run into. Primarily, this is going to be a week about visiting with Mom, and then when Janet and her husband get back from Florida, I'll get to visit with my sister and brother-in-law for just a day before I fly back. I was originally not going to fly until Wednesday because I had originally told her that I didn't want to miss dance class. But I got to looking at the flights. To fly on Wednesday morning was almost $100 more round trip than to fly on Tuesday afternoon. And instead of getting a cute little hop, like from here up to Minneapolis and then back down to Dayton, tomorrow my flight goes from Omaha to LaGuardia in New York, where I change planes and then fly back into Dayton. And then the trip home, I have to fly down to Atlanta and then fly back up here to Omaha. Would have almost been as quick to drive. I didn't really want to put that kind of mileage on my truck. And my sister paid for the ticket, so I don't know why I was being so frugal with her money, but that's what I do, even when it's somebody else's money. I don't like to spend more of it than I have to. Not to get political, but I wish our government would follow those same rules. But anyway, 34 months ago, let's start with where I was. I was sitting in my camper trailer in North Carolina about 30 minutes from some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And I'd been there for 6 months. And I hadn't seen any of them. Not one of those beaches. Because I could barely get out of my trailer. I didn't want to get out of my trailer. Well, I wanted to, but I couldn't. You know, I was parked in a church parking lot and could barely waddle my fat butt into church services. I didn't realize it at the time, but my life had just become surviving each day, and actually surprised when I woke up the next morning. And then just before I came back to Omaha, I want to say I was due to drive back to Omaha, stopping at my sister's house on Wednesday or Thursday. And Monday morning, as I do, or did at the time, I turned on my computer and clicked onto YouTube. Now, my entire life, well, the entirety of my YouTube life, I've been photography, travel and tourism, camping, van life. That's the kind of stuff I like to watch, because I couldn't do any of that stuff. I got to live a little bit by watching those YouTubers do their thing. And I truly believe, some of you are going to argue this point, but I believe God reached into my computer and said, this is the video you need to see. And it is the video that started me on this journey. It was Dante Ferrigno's. Gosh, it's weird I don't remember that. But it was a lion diet video. I didn't know what the lion diet was, but he had a before and after picture on his thumbnail. And that's what drew me in. Which is why, because I've had a few people comment, Bob, why are your thumbnails always the same? Well, because it was the before and after picture that drew me into Dante's video. And I'm hopeful that having the before and after pictures on the thumbnail might draw somebody else in that needs the information. But I watched it and realized very quickly that I can't do this diet because it's basically eating beef. And I had known as fact for 40 years that beef makes gout worse. But because I'd watched his video, because he's a really fun guy to listen to, but because I had watched that video, a little while later, YouTube suggested this old country doctor from the middle of Tennessee, Dr. Ken Berry. And I really liked listening to him because he talks the way I talk. He's from the middle of Appalachia. So I kind of connected with what he was saying, but I still, you know, his keto videos and his carnivore videos, they sounded great. But of course, I can't do any of that stuff because I have gout. And red meat causes gout. Known it as fact for 40 years. But later that day, I got a notification that Dr. Berry was going live. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ask him a question. And of course, I had no idea. I didn't even notice how popular he was. But there were many people already in the chat waiting for him to go live when I got there. But because I was there, I dutifully typed in my question into the comments, and it was a simple question. I have gout. I can't do it the way you're talking about. Is there a version of this diet I can do with gout? If I had known how successful it was going to be, I would have written the girl's name down. I know it was either Mitzi or Paola, because those were the two female moderators that he had at the time. He has more now, but at the time it was just Mitzi and Paola. And one of them sent me back a message that said, Bob, red meat does not cause gout. Go watch Dr. Barry's gout videos. And I'm sitting there scratching my head. It's like, wow, my goodness, these people are crazy. Of course red meat causes gout. But what did I have to lose? So I went to Dr. Barry. I didn't even stick around for the live stream that day. I was curious enough that I went right over to his channel, typed in Dr. Barry gout, and a couple of videos popped up. And it was at that point I decided this guy is crazy. Of course red meat causes gout. I've known that as fact for 40 years. The doctor, when I got discharged from the Army because I had gout, and every civilian doctor after that, has given me the same handout on what to eat, what not to eat. And right at the top of the list, organ meats and red meat. If you're going to have meat, you should have fish or chicken, and only about a palm-sized piece, which is about 2 ounces. And you should only have that a couple of times a week. But the more I listened to him, everything else he was talking about made sense. And something in my mind said, why would he be wrong? So wrong about this one thing. So as I sat there and thought about it, I decided, what the heck, let's give it a try. What do I got to lose? I'm basically sitting around in my trailer waiting to die. So I made the decision now, because the next day or the day after I was hooking up and dragging my trailer to my sister's house, and she'd already gone shopping, I didn't figure it was fair to her to say, well, I'm changing my diet, so you have to go back to the commissary and buy all new food. So I knew I was arriving home on May the 8th. So on May the 9th, the day before my 59th birthday, I just went full carnivore. I got home on May the 8th, went shopping, bought nothing but carnivore foods. I didn't know then as nearly as much as I know now. I mean, I bought Spam, bologna, hot dogs, some ground beef. I did buy a couple of steaks as well. I got eggs and I got butter. And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, I did jump straight in with standard American diet one day, carnivore the next. And now that I know better, I don't recommend that. I recommend, as Professor K says, a long, slow transition over 4 to 8 weeks. Because when you switch your diet from any one thing to any other thing overnight, your gut microbiome goes nuts. And mine certainly did. I had, well, let's just say I had bathroom issues that were sudden and explosive. I don't recommend just jumping right in anymore. But I'm just a retired truck driver. It's not really my place to recommend anything. All I can do is tell you what happened to me. And I had decided, Because at the time I had a photography channel that wasn't doing anything. I had like 25 subscribers and they were all friends and family. But I thought the best way to tell everybody was I just put out a little video. It was my first carnivore video that was just titled Semi-Retired Bob Goes Carnivore. And I figured that was the best way to tell everybody what I was trying. Because, making 25 phone calls is a pain in the butt. And then I sat down, I decided to make another video. Because I noticed right away that I was starting to feel just a little bit better. I mean, I had sent Dr. Barry a message that said, I have this horrible back pain. Is it possible that this diet will make it so instead of only being able to stand for a couple minutes, I thought if I could get to the point where I could stand for 4 to 5 minutes at a time without having to sit back down, I could go back to the zoo and do some other things. And he said, just keep doing what you're doing and see where it goes. Well, I sat down to make a video. I was about the 1.5, 2 week mark when I noticed everything was getting loose. All my clothes were getting loose. So I jumped on the scale because I didn't expect to actually lose any weight. I've tried every diet known to man over the last 40 years. Because we knew as fact at the time, all you had to do to lose weight was to eat less and move more. And that did sort of work, but every time I tried to do the move more stuff, I'd have a gout attack, which set me back another couple of weeks. But I sat down to make my 29 pounds in 29 days video, and I had set my note sheet too far off to the left, and I just reached over and grabbed it. And my left shoulder is the one that's always been so bad. And I just sat there. Did I really just do that? And then I started moving my joints around and realized I didn't hurt nearly as bad as I did. And that's where I really doubled down and started going big. So, to go back to the title of the video, what's happened to me? Well, my arthritis pain is 98 to 99% gone. If I move too quick one way or another, I still feel a little twinge here and there. My spinal stenosis is also 98, 99% better. I'm still careful when I turn, because sometimes if I turn the wrong direction too quick, I get a little shot of pain down my back. Nothing like it used to be, but it's still there. My type 2 diabetes, completely reversed. I went from an A1C of 10.3 at diagnosis to 4.8. My fatty liver disease, gone. My chronic kidney disease was gone. I was taking, because I'd had a triple bypass surgery, I was taking 13 pills in the morning and 9 at night, plus pain pills throughout the day. And I'm no longer taking any prescription medication, not even a little. I keep one pain pill on my desk in its container to remind me that I don't ever want to go back there. My high blood pressure, completely gone. Again, I was taking 3 of those meds were blood pressure meds. And even with 3 blood pressure meds, my blood pressure was on average 160 over 120. This morning it was 118 over 68. I'd call that a pretty big improvement, considering I took 3 drugs completely out of the equation. To top it all off, the whole thing that started me down this path of I hurt too much was my gout. I have not had a single gout attack the entire time. Not one. And as a side effect of all that, I lost 150 pounds that first year. I haven't lost a whole lot since. I don't know if it's still a little stubborn fat roll around my middle, or it might just be pounds of loose skin. I'm confident that things will eventually normalize. I went out for my first walk 4 months later on that September 1st. And I did good just to get down to the corner and back. And I even mentioned that I forgot my cane. I might have to call somebody to come get me. And now look at me. I'm out here before I packed to go to Ohio, getting this big loop in. It's not a huge loop compared to what some of you guys walk, but it is 1.5 miles. Considering where I was, this is another big step in the right direction. And I think that's all there is. I'm going up that big hill on the backside to where I turn down and head back down the hill to the house. Normally, back that way, about 5 minutes ago, I would have turned the camera around and played you some music. But since I'm up here at the top of the hill with just the downhill run left to go to the house, I think I'm going to call it a video right here. Because if I'm to here, I've certainly rambled on enough. Probably close to 20 minutes. So I will say have a great day. Hopefully I can check in with you from Ohio from time to time. I'll be back late next Monday night. So don't forget, folks, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you when I get back from Ohio.